The Spoken Token is a proud member of the Pod Studio One podcast network.
Hey everyone, this is Alex with the Spoken Token, here with a blast from the past. We want to go back into our archives and share you one of our favorite episodes from our very first Summer of Games. So sit back, get your lemonade with your ice cubes and your little froofy umbrella, and listen to Larry and Alex and their infancy talk about some really wonderful things in the super hot month of August.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Larry.
How are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. I am caffeinated and ready to talk board games.
I am too, and you know what episode this is?
The episode where we get highly caffeinated and talk about board games?
Well, that's what's going to happen. But the episode is episode 24, which means it's our second birthday. Not our third, like I misled everyone last episode. We're turning 2. Hey, that's what 2-year-olds
You know,
do.
I actually got like several things of hate mail, or at least, comments of like, excuse me, if you want to be specific, this is actually your second birthday. And
Tell them that's what 2-year-olds do. They get numbers confused.
That's right. I mean, we go 2. It's 2. 2.
So we are back here. This is GenCant is coming up.
Yeah.
When you guys are listening, when everyone's listening to this, GenCon will be in just a few days as this drops on the 1st.
Or GenCon will be over if you're the late person to the show.
We're going to say that yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think.
So then we'll just...
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, if you listen after the 4th, you've missed GenCon. There's no space-time continuum we can fix.
All we can do is offer you, well, the show's here.
This is true. You may listen to us on repeat. I think that will. Actually, how fun would... You know what? I'm going to challenge all of our listeners right now. For GenCon weekend, do a Spoken Token marathon. Back-to-back episodes. So that's that's almost a full day's worth.
Binge listening.
Of listening. I mean, like, you do it with Netflix shows. And listen, I know what you guys are watching on Netflix, and I promise you we're better at least than half of that stuff.
I want to go with you, but I'm just going to sit here chuckling.
Yes, that's true. If my wife can't listen to me for 24 hours, I'm sure other people can't either. So I won't hold you to that.
That's a whole nother show, so we better move on into our show.
Hey, all right, fair enough. As always, let's go to the opening so I can get myself out of verbal trouble.
Hello, and welcome to the Spoken Token episode 24. It's our special birthday episode. This month, Larry and Alex talk Asmodee news, cover a few companies who have been at the top of their game in the last few years, and some who are not. They go over some older games that you can use to fight the cult of the new, and also discuss the Spiel des Jahres awards and their relevance to the broader board gaming community worldwide. And as always, we talk games. So, sit back, relax, grab a slice of birthday cake because we are turning 2, and let's join your hosts, Alex Wallace and Larry Neal. All right, we are back, and let's get right into it. We've got a little bit of news that just broke here just recently. And I think if everyone has been paying attention, and it's possible that you've missed it, but at least everyone listening to this podcast probably knows, we all know who Asmodee is, and we know we talked about it in this very place not 2 months ago, that they were exploring the possibility of selling themselves. And, even though that's what they put out at that time, we made the comment, at their size of a company, you don't do that without the intent of actually going through with it. And so we found out this Sunday, or it was Monday over there in France, it's happened.
Yes, Asmodee has been sold.
They have entered an agreement with another company. I'll read this, and we will credit the particular news source that I use for this later in the notes. PAI Partners, which is a private equity group, entered in exclusive discussions to acquire Asmodee for 1.2 billion euros.
Oh, good night.
A formal announcement of the purchase is expected soon. The acquisition of Asmodee would be the first investment made by this particular group, which reached a successful final close at 5.1 billion, and this is talking about PAI. This is their worth.
Right.
In March of 2018, after less than 6 months of active marketing.
I can only imagine a bunch of guys in suits going, well, they're making money. Let's buy that thing. I don't know what they're doing, but let's buy that thing.
Almost as if you were reading the press release right along with me. Here, let's read that next sentence. In a press release, PAU Partners said that PAI intends to support the current management team in its plans to grow the business further through international expansion, both organically and by acquisition. And then a gentleman at PAI Partners added, we are excited by the company's growth prospects, which include further developing Asmodee's position in the core hobby gaming market and successfully diversifying the group's main brands onto other platforms. We look forward to working together to deliver on our ambitious objectives.
All right, so here's what I see with that. I see this group is going to we see a heavy push by Asmodee already to be in the digital market. I think these people are going to try and expand even more in the digital market. And then they're going to become the blob of the hobby board gaming where they're just assuming or consuming all things and it's just, going down the streets in this big green gelatinous form. Everyone's running.
The jelly, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really cool. And you know what? I think that's probably a pretty good guess. And a lot of people have already been saying that online that I've read. Most of them have been comments. Haven't listened to the pundits yet. And it's interesting to note that in the internet age, it's equally important to listen to the message board as it is the pundit.
Absolutely, yeah. Because message boards
the truth is between the both of them.
That's
really.
Right. Because message boards, like those are boots on the ground. Those are people who it actually affects.
Yeah. I mean, fanboys and trolls are in there too, but you just can weed that stuff out as you read through it.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, those are the guesses too. Looking at what PAI does, already in Europe as an investment firm, some of the other things that they're invested in, they go along hand in hand with board games, but they're not board games.
Okay.
They do some things in clothing and they do some other light entertainment things that they own. So board games is
they're already in the entertainment industry to an extent.
Not really, but that's what I was going to say. It's kind of more of a lifestyle thing.
Oh, okay.
And so with the things that they do with the food and the other things that they're doing and the
clothing I would
lines,
love to see
now,
Settlers of Catan crackers.
Yeah, see, we're not going there.
Yeah, they're all made of rice, by the way.
Where I'm going is no wheat. Where I'm going is it sort of fits in the portfolio, where they're trying to sit. They're not in the science space, they're not in the tech space, not in the medical space. They're kind of more in the, interpersonal, like I said, the entertainment sort of lifestyle space. And this is a big piece to anybody's business.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And now they've been able to plug that in. Some people are, of course, always saying too that, they'll do the typical thing that investment firms do. That is, take component quality down, drive prices up, shutter studios, or cripple them in terms of holding back the best titles and then selling them without it.
Mm-hmm.
It remains to be seen. Something analogous to saying they sell Fantasy Flight without Twilight Imperium or the Star Wars license.
Yeah,
they hold that and then sell Fantasy Flight back to somebody else without those things.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. Surely we're going to see. When Asmodee started this run, I said it. It's going to be interesting. And this is a turn that was inevitable.
You know what I think this could
still interesting.
This could be very interesting. I don't know if this scenario is going to come to fruition, but this could be the thing that actually wakes the sleeping giant that is Hasbro. So you now have all right. So
you really want that giant to get up, don't you?
Well, but think about it. Think all right. So at this point, Asmodee has been only really making waves in the hobby market. Okay, not in the mass market toy market. But you now have a major acquisition of someone who wants to expand the brand. Asmodee has already been expanding, okay? But,
True.
So, but now you have someone who's like, well, what they were doing is kid stuff. I want to expand. And so you now have this. So this may be the thing that gets Hasbro to say, hey, wait. No.
Yeah, but what would that look like, though? Them picking up the rest of the hobby companies?
But, well, again... This is
no. I'm asking. No, yeah, I'm trying to go with you. I'm just asking. I'm saying, what would them waking up look like?
I think they would go back to a model in which they had a couple of years ago, where they were starting to give designers pieces of their license and making new games at it. We saw they did it with several editions of Risk. We saw that's actually how you got Risk Legacy. It's how you got a Pandemic Legacy. I mean, all of those things.
Pandemic.
Well, I know, but it's just the same designer. Was it Davio?
Yeah, he used to work there.
Right. So, again,
Craig Vegness got to do the Battleship Galaxies, which they still pub, but they killed.
Mm-hmm.
You can find a copy of it probably for cheap now, a new one. But it needs expansions.
But I think, what you have now is you have big box stores that are willing to invest into more specific titles. They are cultivating areas on their shelf space that are for very specific, non-generic.
Well, cool. Well, let's go there for a minute. I like that. That's what I was asking. What would that look like? So
is that like, can we do the Conan thing where he's like, in the year 3000?
No, we can't.
Oh, okay.
No. No.
We haven't done the Batman voice in a long
Throw
time.
back to the first year.
That's right. That's right. I don't want to do that.
But no, what I was thinking was, that's cool. That's actually cool. That's not a bad angle. I hadn't thought about it. I guess my only thought on that is I would hope that even though Hasbro already has a scale of economy, clearly, and some of these titles that you're talking about, they've already got built in, I would hope that they would go after it with a quality instead of a quantity approach.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, they can put out, 50,000 copies of something but just because they can doesn't mean they should on a lot of the stuff that's there. Like I said, Craig Van Ness, who also did HeroScape, same house with Davio. Well, he's still there though. Van Ness still works there. I think he's a gifted designer.
Yeah.
I think he's probably one of the top designers that's still working under a big umbrella like that, who we know of. But that's just my personal opinion. But it's like, okay, do we give him the license to go and finish Battleship Galaxies or something else, and then let him really run with it as a real designer? Or do they bring Davio back and say, hey, will you take Monopoly and make it good or something? Hopefully not Monopoly, but something that they own. Or would they actually press out into new space?
All right. So this is
question.
Not a plea to Hasbro, but it is something to Hasbro. Here's something to think about. So fun story. A buddy of mine and I we went on a road trip to Montgomery, Alabama, and saw a now defunct Toys R Us. But those are everywhere. Well, no.
Oh,
what was so special about this Toys R Us is that it had the original paint and design from the 70s. So it was still maintained as a 70s Toys R Us on the outside facade. But what it got me thinking in connection with this is you now have, in the last 2 months, the death of one of the largest physical toy retailers in the nation. Hasbro is in the physical toy business. Yes, now they have a whole entire entertainment wing that makes a bukus of money.
Hasbro's a toy company, though, yeah.
Right, but again, they're a toy company.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't make they make video games, but that's not where their bread and butter is.
Everything they make is to push those toys.
Exactly.
Everything.
So
movies, everything.
So now you have which is to my point is that this company wants to produce physical toys.
Sure.
And they want to think things that kids and adults play with or collect.
The Toys R Us thing?
No, I'm saying Hasbro.
No, I know, but I'm confused about
Okay, well, it just got me thinking. The Toys R Us got me thinking because, again, because I'm actually getting a roundabout way, getting back to Toys R Us.
Okay.
Is that because Toys R Us is out, you now only have a digital marketplace, Target and Walmart.
Well, that's who put them out of business, but yeah.
Right. So you are losing foothold as if you're Hasbro on the physical retail space.
That is an interesting question. I would love to know how much space are they actually losing that's effective. We know there was a lot of square footage because you're right, all the Toys R Us stores were giant, but those stores weren't effective. That's why they went out of business.
Well,
I would love to. I'm just, that's
yeah. But coming back to that is, if we're only in Target and Walmart and Amazon, I would say to you, talking to Hasbro's sitting right next to me, here's an opportunity, a market that is completely without a major competitor as far as like selling things. What are you laughing at?
Nothing going on.
Let me finish. Or I'll forget what I'm trying to get to. But Hasbro, please make board games.
I didn't mean to break it up, and I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at my thought because I was just completely off on a tangent.
So apparently you're much funnier in thought than I am in spoken word.
I'm probably just funnier in my own head than I am for real, is what that is.
Hey, welcome to my world. I laugh at myself all the time.
But, I don't know. I think it's a little bit more romanticized of an idea of Hasbro than I have. I don't have a lot of faith with them. I grew up with the toys and some of the brands that they bought. Milton Bradley and some of the other toy companies.
I do have Hasbro's name on a shrine with like hearts drawn around it.
Yeah, see, I don't.
So romanticized.
Yeah, see, no, I don't. And see, I remember being younger and actually preferring Parker Brothers games.
Which is now.
Well, it's all Hasbro now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Hasbro bought all of it. So it's all the same. I guess I just, with them until I see it, because I went all in. Remember, I pre-ordered Battleship Galaxies. No, I didn't know you guys yet.
No.
When Battleship Galaxies came out, I pre-ordered that from Nord's. This is before Roll the Dice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there. I went there on lunch during work to pick up my pre-order, man. And I was so proud of it. It was just the coolest thing I'd seen. And I was so excited because I always like Battleship, and it's fun, but it's just not a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get beyond the 5th time you've played it, no matter how old you are, you're like, it's just not a lot here. It is fun though.
Mm-hmm.
And this has the promise, and it delivers for the most part, on a much meatier experience. There's a lot more game there. Basically, they looked at it and they took the big picture and they said, let's sell this much to start it off with, and then we'll sell 1 billion expansions and little packs of boxes to flesh it out. And he worked for the company, so he didn't have a choice but to say, okay. But then once it got out there, they said, they literally pulled it. No, we're not doing anything else. It didn't sell enough. We're done. Pull the plug on it. They did a no launch. There wasn't even a soft launch. I mean, there was no advertising. There was a no launch. They just shipped it to stores, went to the sales sheet the next day and was like, oh, didn't sell enough copies. Cancel it. What? And have you seen my copy? Have you seen it?
No, this is new. This is a new thing to me.
I need to let you, we need to play it. It's 2-player. It came with 2 boards in the box, and they're regular board size. So when you put them out, they're double sized. That came in the box, space hexes. Of course, and it's based in space. The ships are molded. They're ink washed.
Oh, fun.
They're on acrylic bases. It's got one of the best blow molded inserts I've ever seen. Holds every component perfectly in place. And they even did a little throwback. The markers that you use to mark where your ship has been hit, because the ships are on acrylic vertical stands, of course, up thing. They're the little old battleship pegs. So,
fun. Okay.
So they did the throwback to that. But you build your ships. You build them. You've got cards, and you put equipment and pilots on a certain ship. So you've got all these cards out in front of you that is your fleet. And then it's movement based. Oh. And then of course you're rolling the dice for the combat because it is Battleship.
Oh, wow.
But it's good. It's a good game. It needed more ships. It needed more things to flesh out on both sides. It's very much a starter.
Okay. It's
very much a starter, and they completely killed it. So even before that, that was probably my last gasp to give them just blind, Hasbro will save us. I'm not there yet. Yeah. I love that you are. That's why I was laughing. And I'm like, man, he's got so much faith in Hasbro.
It's not that I have faith in Hasbro. It's just I see the trend, and I'm like, man, somebody got to come in and save us.
Well, that's true. And from that standpoint, it's the smart play because we know for sure this is a business they want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the investors, you're right. We don't know.
Because I don't think that CMON is going to save the industry. I think CMON they're going to protect their own little island.
Well, they all are.
So
I mean, I don't think any of them are. You know what I mean? I mean, not alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I see what you're saying, but I wouldn't just hump that on them. Truth could be said for anybody else who's independent right now. They're going to work real hard to protect their own. Maybe pull a little bit from Asmodee, particularly if component quality slides and/or prices go up. But other than that, you're right.
So then,
good stuff.
Then let me ask you this: if it's not the companies that are going to save the industry, is it then the retailer's responsibility?
No, it's ours.
It's the hobby. Yeah. It's the hobbyists.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got to buy it. We've got to bring in new people. We've got to play it. We've got to be responsible. We've got to turn it from what we talked about with the button shy thing. We've got to go from playing them to making them, to designing them. We've got to keep the companies that we do interact with honest. We have to weed out the bad companies, like the people on the shall not be named list, by not giving them money, by not supporting them. Weed out bad retailers by not going to them. Weed out bad online retailers by not shopping with them. It's really us.
And then if you say that, I mean, to the inverse of that is support the things that need to be supported.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's up to us. I mean, these guys are here because they can make money and they want to make a living because they deserve to be able to feed their families too. But they don't do that. You don't just open a game store and all of a sudden you can feed your family.
No, that is the truth.
People have to come in and buy the games and you have to give them a service. So, yeah, it's up to us. So, good stuff.
Interesting. All right. Fun talk, Larry.
Yeah,
good
man.
Thinking.
Happy birthday, show.
Happy birthday.
Let's move on.
All right. So this next segment I'm super excited about. We've affectionately titled it, Who's Killing It?
Preliminarily.
Who's Killing It?
Preliminarily.
If I keep saying it more and more, it'll be harder for you to edit out.
Preliminarily.
Preliminarily?
Preliminarily.
So this is for Larry and I. We're going to, so the show is 2 years old. So we're going to look at 2 companies that we think who have now are new to the industry within the last 2 years, who we think are doing a heck of a job. They've brought some really strong things to the table, if you will.
I don't think mine are new, but okay. I missed that part in the notes. That's totally on me.
Oh, well, okay then.
Hold on, give me a second. Let's look. You keep talking.
I'll keep talking. And then on the opposite of that, who's actually killing it? Like, who's doing a horrible job in killing things? And so...
They're kind of new, but they're not 2 years old, though.
As always, you're not following the rules of the list.
That's
It's harder than it has to be. It's like a math question at football practice. Come on, man.
Oh, how many X's are on the field?
Yeah, football players. I'm one of y'all. So when y'all
Are
come
you?
after us,
Actually, Larry
go to Alex. Don't come to me.
Larry is 5'3", 104 pounds. He was the football.
Were you there the day I was born?
Huh? No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how'd you know how big I was and how much I weighed the day I was born?
Oh, please stop. Oh my goodness. You're killing this, Larry. You're literally killing this segment. Okay, so I'm gonna start first, and all right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and name my two, and then you'll give your two, and then we'll give our who's ruining things.
That's a good plan.
Okay, so I'm gonna go
Preliminarily.
Preliminarily. All right. First off, I'm gonna say who's killing it is doing an amazing job. Pandasaurus Games. Okay, these are the people of Dinosaur Island. The new hotness. Okay, the mind, if you will. Now, to that, like everybody else is on the mind craze. I've played it. It's okay. It's whatever. They've also, again, just the quality of components that they're putting out. Wasteland Express. Have you seen that?
The one you sold?
I know I never had Wasteland Express.
Which one did you have that you sold?
There was never a Pandasaurus game.
But you know what I'm talking about, though.
No, I don't.
You did a Kickstarter for one, and you didn't.
Oh, that was Outlive. Yeah. No. That was I can't remember the name of that company. It was a French company.
Gotcha.
But yeah, not Pandasaurus.
I thought that was Wasteland Express. Okay.
Yeah, no. That was
Carry
one.
on.
It was one. I'm kicking myself now because 8 months ago it was $30, and now it's like everyone's has rediscovered it, and so it's like $60 anywhere. It's miserable. Okay, but again, Pandasaurus, just they really get who they are making games for. They are thematic, they are fun, gorgeous, except for their painting colors in Dinosaur Island, which we won't talk about here anymore. But again, it's just beautiful stuff.
Too much pink.
That's right. And again, just they have had hit after hit after hit. And so, all right, so my first is Pandasaurus Games.
I played that one. I think that may be the first game I've played twice at a con on purpose.
Which one was that?
Dinosaur Island.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because Tennessee Game Days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, and my Totally Liquid expansion should be coming in the next, weeks or so.
Nifty.
So yes, I will get my Mosasaurus.
I'm gonna get a giant box of all of it when they're done.
You should have got it now. Oh, well.
No, it's all good.
You didn't you buy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting it all.
Oh yeah, you're getting
it all. But I'm doing
right.
it in one shipment. I didn't want to split it.
That's fair enough. Okay. All right, my next. This is our guys at Plan B. All right. Was it they on your list?
Keep going.
Okay. All right. So Plan B. So we have got the infamous Azul. They do Century Spice Road.
Wait, why is that infamous?
It's so famous. It's infamous.
Oh, okay.
Little three amigos.
That's how that
quote
works.
for
But
you.
okay.
It's okay. Yeah. No. It was
Guapo.
El guapo. Do you even know what a plethora is? A fun story. I actually got to say that in conversation twice in a single day, like just last week.
You got to say it or you just did?
No, because someone used the word plethora, and just under my breath I went, do you even know what a plethora is?
So yes, you just did.
Yeah, so yeah. Well, it was appropriate at the time. Except for one of them was my boss and he didn't appreciate it.
Oh, okay then. Well,
all right,
no longer laughing.
But again, so we had Century Spice Road. What's the new one? Why is it leaving my brain right now? It's the other Century game.
Eastern?
Yes, Eastern Isles. Oh Lord. Okay, yes, you are in a superior situation than I am. Okay, so
no, I don't know either. This is great radio when we both laugh.
Absolutely, but again,
no, it's Eastern something. Yeah, it may be Isles. I don't remember. I know it's tile based.
Yeah, right.
In terms of not having a static map.
Yeah, and so and again, the fact that they even did the Gollum edition of Century Spice Road.
It's the best one.
Yeah, but that just shows you they know good games.
It was almost in my bag tonight.
Oh, okay. But they know good games. They know what their audience wants, and they're affordably priced, and it's just great stuff.
The Gollum edition story is a really neat story because that's how the game was originally. That's what was originally presented to them.
Really?
Yeah, and it was rethemed to Spice Road
because everything has to be about.
Ancient
trading.
Well, just trying to make sure that it hit that audience piece. But the game was received so well, and the mechanics, of course, are solid as they are, and of course they have the artist there, and he had a lot of input. And so they ended
Eastern
up
Wonders. That's what it was.
There you go, Eastern Wonders. So they just ended up going on and putting the Gollum edition out there just to see, and it's a beautiful edition, and they treated it with so much care. So that's the one I own. So even I still have the outer box, the shipping box, the box that it shipped in is even fantastic, and serves to protect the game box even, and the components are just fantastic. So yeah, no, that's a really good story. Was that the end of your list?
Well, I have my real bad because again, I only did 2. So
yeah, we only have 2 goods and then the 1 bad.
Yeah. So I'm gonna save my bad for after.
Cool. I'll do my 2 goods
Yeah.
and then we'll do the bads also. All right. So we will go with my guys that are killing it. I thought we would have some overlap there. We did a little, but not as much as I thought.
Well, seeing as how I only had 2.
Well, I only have 2 also.
Right, but I'm just saying if there's one overlap, that's 50%. That's a pretty good overlap.
Well, I mean, we don't fully have it, and you'll see why. The first one of mine is Renegade Games. And of course they're not.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to do. I said for sure he'll have Renegade on.
Yeah, you know what? I did think about that because I mean, but I do not fault you for that, Renegade. You what's up?
Yeah. And let's just go a little bit over their list. We got Topiary.
Yeah.
Of course, Clanks, the Clank in space, and then of course the regular Clank. Kepler 3042. Flatline, which is your favorite. Raiders of the.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth.
Raiders of the North Sea, which you can't stand.
Oh, I love that game so much. You are weird people for not liking that game.
No, I don't not like it.
You know what? That is a game that can fit into. We are planning a segment for our next show about how games can change with player numbers, and adding the 4th player, I think, changes that game significantly.
I want to see the expansions help it out. The criticisms that other people had.
I hear Hall of Heroes fixes everything.
Right. In the first game that we played, I see them. I don't weight them as heavy, in other words, but I do see the criticisms that we got from that first play. And then, of course, Overlight, which is just phenomenally interesting to me.
Which isn't out yet, but it's coming.
Right. Which they're going to.
It's actually coming soon.
A tabletop RPG from a traditional board game company. I just love that. And that will be discussed in a future segment also. And then my second one is local guys, but they've been killing it. So got to go there. Van Ryder.
Hey.
Yeah, they've been killing it. We've got Detective City of Angels.
Oh, I can't. I can't wait to sit through that because I got to play test that in their original. Oh my goodness!
Can't wait.
I loved the video game L.A. Noire. I just
never even played.
It's incredible. It's all about nuance and actually, and this game is like. If you love LA Confidential, if you love that noir crime drama,
it sounded really cool, so I clicked.
Yeah, well,
back it.
Oh man, no, you clicked back it because I told you to.
No, I didn't know. My wallet told me to. I was like, oh, okay, this is fine. I can do it. No, I read it, and no, it does. It sounds really good, so I'm looking forward to that one. But also, of course, Hostage Negotiator, Crime Wave, was the latest one. The Big Score, which is the one that's coming out here really soon. The graphic novel Adventures.
Those are so intriguing.
I'll have mine soon.
So intriguing.
I'll have mine soon. And then those 2 guys, of course, Evan and AJ, went full time.
Yeah.
So
the fact that they got to do that.
Yeah, the company is a real thing. There's the very definition of killing it in terms of.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, sir. All right. Oh, well, you know what? Let's do this.
Okay.
The little bit of overlap that we did have while we're on this side, I did some honorable mentions. Blue Orange
they were on my list too. They were just below.
And that's of course for photosynthesis is the big one, and then of course Plan B. Plan B was the
actually in Blue Orange, King and Queen Domino.
Right.
You know,
absolutely.
I love them both.
It was really close.
Yeah.
That was when I got into that one. I was like, oh, I like this one. This one's good. Yeah, this will be some good stuff. So those were my 2 honorable mentions on that.
You know, what's funny is yours. I do see the overlap now, but I think my 2 winners for me are so far above all the others. Like if I had a third, it would have been hard.
Gotcha.
But these 2, I think, were just.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, that was just like Pandasaurus Plan B.
That's fantastic.
All right. So who's like actually killing things?
Who's doing the opposite side?
Yeah. Okay. So you first.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Cool. This one's gonna probably come out of left field for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is
everything. Every time we do a list, you're always in left field, so it doesn't bother me.
That's true, but it's just one company.
Yeah.
So at least I'm not doing something else.
Mm-hmm. You're not doing a whole genre, are you?
No, I'm not. Gaming from the moon has been just terrible. No, I'm kidding. Trust me, I thought about it. I tried to make it happen.
I know.
But this one it did. And I like them. And
okay, all right, come on.
I've got their games. I got to build it up. Leave me alone.
Okay.
And so these guys are great. I think for the most part, but the last year, the way you put it, just sort of killing it,
Mhm.
like slowly.
Yeah.
In their case, and that's Days of Wonder.
I strongly considered them.
Days of Wonder.
Yeah.
So let me just read some of the things. Okay. So if you go to their website, which, go and look at it, and you look at their game page, it looks fantastic. It's so full of stuff. Now, of course, it's 18,000 Ticket to Ride versions.
Mm-hmm.
So now they belong in the list with Hasbro, with Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got, every kind of other opoly. We've now got every kind of Ticket to Ride East number 6 train, Ticket to Ride my first tricycle. I mean, literally, man, it's like everything, They've done Ticket to Ride everything. So I'm going to keep moving.
But when you got a good game, you got a good game.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not asking them to kill it. I'm not even saying don't do these. Just do some other stuff. Slowly dying on what you've been doing. That's pretty much it for the top of the line. They do have some high quality, good titles, and I do like what they do. One of my top produced games in my collection by a very long shot came from Days of Wonder, and it's way out, and that is the original Battlelore.
Yeah.
It's so highly produced that when they sold their property to Fantasy Flight couldn't remake it. I mean, they literally came out and said, if we made this game anywhere near this, it would be $350, and we know the market will not sustain that.
Yeah.
So we can't do it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful game. Let me just go with some of their more recent titles, and I just kind of want them to get up off the stick. It seems like they're kind of in coast mode a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So their most recent things that I have here, we've got Yamatai, which is fairly recent, Quadropolis, which is fairly recent, a little bit older than that. 5 Tribes, of course, which is good. Relic Runners, which I enjoyed.
I actually played 5 Tribes for the first time a couple of months ago, and it was a lot better than it had been made out to me.
Okay, no, and I like that one. Then they've got several older properties that really just need some refreshing or some love, that they still have them listed on their website. Cargo Noir being one, which is one of my favorites. Memoir 44, Small World, which is, we're going to talk about that one in a bit. And then Shadows over Camelot. And these are games that are just kind of coasting on their, laurels. And so to me, that was kind of the definition of, you guys are losing it. At one point, you're on top of the world, and now you're just coasting it. So that was mine for killing it. Not that they're a bad company or that I'm upset with them. I own quite a few of those titles, but it's just so much stagnation. It seems like they were in neutral, and now it seems like they're kind of sliding back down the hill a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
So I pulled a Larry, and I
don't
found
even know what you're talking about.
I found a company who, in the last 24 months, has killed it, because they literally killed their entire company, and that would be Mayfair Games. I'm looking at you, Mayfair, 6 feet underground.
They're completely dead.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not happy with that.
Clearly.
Yes. I mean, come on. You have the single most prolific game in the hobby. You could restructure your company and just ride that sucker till you're dead. Well, actually, they did that. Sorry.
Well, mine is the restructuring part.
Yeah.
I know, because you're right, because that is one thing about Mayfair. That's all it was every year.
But see, here's the thing for me. Listen, if you look at the success of Ticket to Ride, you do that with Catan. We have how many different
Days of Wonder? We'll show it to you 94 different ways.
Exactly. But you had Star Wars Catan, and then what you did? Was there a Star Trek Catan?
I didn't know there was a Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars didn't come out over here.
Okay.
You can get it. That was in Europe. Star Trek Catan was here.
Okay, so Star Wars, Star Trek, and then I think there was a Game of Thrones. There's a Game of Thrones Catan.
Just know all of that.
Right.
Come up with a new game, man.
So you got 4 license. Okay. You got 4 license. Mayfair, you could have made it. There's enough out there. Like, I would have played Marvel Catan. You got Thanos coming over here. Like, he's the thief.
It just sounds awful.
No, it sounds fantastic. Thanos is the thief. And you're trying to, produce cities or
This is the reason why they're dead.
No, they're dead because they didn't take my creative advice. Oh, so
that's
Mayfair,
a good one though. No,
they are actually dead.
That's a really. Hey, they sold off their juiciest bits and then just went away.
Yeah. So
very good. No on mentions on that side.
No. So
good deal. I guess we can move right along.
Okay, our next next segment is one I'm kind of excited about. Actually, I say I'm excited about every segment. So either I am excited about every single thing that we do, or I need to find a new adjective to describe my joy for doing what we do for the last 24 months, by the way.
I vote both.
Done. Okay.
And less coffee.
Less coffee. Actually, today's performance is brought to you by Starbucks Park Roast.
By the letter C for coffee.
The coffee. All right. Our next segment, we talk a lot here about the cult of the new.
We do?
Oh, we do. We've actually spent entire shows talking about the cult of the new. And are you being ironic right now?
I only remember talking about that once. But okay.
It's for like a whole show, though.
Okay.
Larry, you are torpedoing this segment like no one's business.
I didn't realize I was leaning on the button. My bad. I'm going to just keep looking out the window.
Keep pondering. But contrary to Larry's disagreement.
We talk about it all the time.
All the time. It's every episode.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of it.
Well, I'm here. I'm glad you're getting tired of it, Larry, because I'm here to offer a new segment called Fight the Cult of the New. So what do we want to do?
Oh, man.
You know what? 2 years doing this, we still have fun.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good stuff right there.
Rails.
Yes.
Show.
Absolutely. For those of you at home not seeing through your radio, Larry's hand started in the middle and then went to the far right-hand side. That's how far we've gotten off the rails. Yet, bringing us all the way back to fighting the cult of the new, Larry and I are going to suggest 3 different games that are at least 5 years old or older. I think none of ours are in the 5 years. I think the oldest I have might be.
My initial note said 10. That's why mine aren't 5 years.
There we go. But I think
just saying.
My youngest is 8 years. So we want to suggest to you.
I can do it for 5.
These are games that you should be playing, especially, you get into that. I mean, it's a wonderful thought because you get into July, between July and August, you have this whole drought of what, Larry?
Look how many are 5 years old. The list would have been a lot longer if you'd let me do it at 5.
Oh, bless it.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the drought,
My bad,
the pre-GenCon drought.
I was excited about it.
I know,
Okay.
I know, but it is fairly interesting. I was talking with our buddy Rick at GamePoint just the other day as we were preparing for our GenCant celebration,
Nifty.
which some of you may have missed completely if you're listening to us after August the 4th.
Don't tease him.
Well, yes. You missed him. But again,
Wow.
there's no new releases coming out in the month of July because everybody's waiting to release at GenCon.
Right.
So,
Right.
let's just say next July, you're sitting around, or even tomorrow, you're sitting around and you're going, well, I don't want to really, all of this GenCon stuff has come out. I can't get it yet. What should I be playing? Well, we've got 3 games each that we think you should be playing that are, in board gaming years, pretty stinking old. So, all right, first up, not my number one, but definitely one I really think you should be, give it dust it off, okay? And that's Power Grid. Now,
That's good stuff.
yeah, and interestingly enough, there's a whole generation of new hobby gamers who have come in like post-Zombicide or something else that's pulled them in, or come in to board gaming because of Gloomhaven or Pandemic Legacy or any of those things, that they have no concept of Power Grid. And Power Grid used to be one of the gold standards, and it is for a reason. It is highly mathy in some points, but not as much as the reputation it gets.
Right. And that's so what you're talking about, of course, when you're going into the power stations and stuff. Once you know how to play it,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where you're doing it and you're not really even thinking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're right. It is mathy. I'm not trying to say that it's not, but once you know how to play the game and you know why you're doing it and why these numbers matter, you're just doing it.
Yeah.
You're sitting there on your turn trying to figure out if you can get in there or keep people out or whatever, whichever way you're trying to do it. So, and I'm with you. Now, that one's fantastic. I love Power Grid. It is wonderful. It is. How old? When was that one?
I think 2002 is what
I'm looking at my own collection and I do own it. I could check right here.
Why don't you do that? 2004. 2004.
Okay.
So
I'll
yeah,
stay in 2013 then.
yeah, absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So
Good
all right,
stuff.
number 1 for me, Power Grid.
Good game.
All right,
Good
you're
choice.
up, Larry.
Okay, cool. Mine is, I'm going to move closer here so I can actually read it. The first one for me is Formula D.
Formula D, I love it.
Right. Now, I'll be honest, that D and Day is the original, the DE. That one is a little bit older. D, the remake, came out, and that's the one that came out 10 years ago. So it's 2008. It is just a fun game, a fun racing game.
I to this day still play this game with my kids.
Right. It's not trying to be super deep for a racing game, but it is fun. Everybody likes to chuck a handful of dice. Where else can you get up to 10 people? And legitimately, as long as you've got room for it to fit on the table, that game will move. It will
Yes,
flow.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it's fun. It's a fun game. It's not trying to be something that it's not. Again, like I said, it's representing Formula One racing, and it's got that. But the rules they're simple. It's not a simulation, but it is so fun.
Well, and the fact that even then they have a legacy format in that you can race an entire season.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was legacy before legacy was cool.
Right. And the expansions are all the courses, the different courses. It comes with a neat one in the box, but both versions come with neat ones in the box. But the expansion tracks, they're kind of expensive. That's true for a single. When you think about it, hey, you're just getting a track. But I mean, it's a course, and it's got its own unique, they're all real work courses for the most part. Enterprising people, I did it with my original copy of Day. There are tons of them online that have been printed with the rules that are dream courses and some of the real world courses that weren't made. So there's plenty of content out there for it. To me, I think it's one also that you can just jump back into and explore and just really, like you said, play with your kids.
Yeah,
have a really good time. Party game wise, or if you've got more than 5 or 6 players, pull this one out. You don't have to be a fan of Indy or any kind of car racing whatsoever.
Not at all.
To enjoy this game.
Yeah.
So, by all means, and if you can find the originals, the artwork is fairly offensive but hilarious.
Yeah, just get the normal Formula D. So,
Well, though the tracks are better, but yeah, and that's where it is. I mean, I'm saying offensive. What they did, they went very deeply cultural into where each track was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. So the American guy, he's got on the cowboy boots and a piece of straw out of his mouth and his hat, and he's got that G. Willikers look on his face. So that type of thing.
You mean you don't talk like that, being an American?
No.
That wasn't in your citizenship exam?
I didn't have one. I got born and grew up. I guess that's my exam is ongoing. I
passed.
But and what's funny? I bought those games and I didn't think that about them. And it wasn't until me getting into BGG and some other online forums later that a lot of people, I'm so offended. The French guys, this and the Rio de Janeiro, the Brazil one. Yeah, I don't have that one around your boys. So very interesting.
Yeah, a lot of Muay Thai, right?
Well, okay. I said Brazil, but okay.
Muay Thai.
All right.
It's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
No.
Muay Thai's not Brazilian?
No, I'm saying that's not what's on
I know.
board.
I was being ironic.
No, but the track is great. So we just had to put a piece of tape and maybe some cover up. Well, I just going to cover it up. Just roll your dice, son.
That's
just roll
right.
your dice.
She was cold. All right, so my next copy. This is my 8-year-old. This is 7 Wonders. This, for me, it's the king of all drafting games. Larry hates 7 Wonders. It bores him to tears. I, on the other hand, love drafting games, and I love 7 Wonders. Are you done? Are you done? So,
it's not a bad game. It's just not for me.
Now, the issue with 7 Wonders is you got to make sure you're playing at the 3, 4, 5 player counts.
Super abstract. Just throw cards down, stack them however they fit, and hope you win at the end.
No, there's so much strategy to this game.
I'm sorry. That was the expansion rule set. My bad.
You know what? Listen to me and not Larry sometimes. All right, so 7 Wonders came out in 2010. It's still around because it's a good game. So that one, a lot of you have probably still heard of, probably because of its smaller, which I do believe better version of the game, 7 Wonders Duel.
Oh, I can agree on that.
Absolutely. But the mama 7 Wonders, she's still a fine looking lady. So you should. I'm going to stop that metaphor there and let you move to your next game.
I was looking for blackberries so I could put something in my mouth and not talk. So for me, the next one is Agricola.
Yeah.
I don't even really need to say anything else.
No.
I'm going to.
I'm going to say don't play Agricola.
But Agricola.
I just
Agricola. I'm going to say it again. Agricola.
Oh yeah, it's old.
It's for me. It's a solid game. It is fairly thinky, and I'll be honest. When I was first exposed to it, and it was theme first, so I was like, what's it about? In Euro game, the term was still kind of brand new back then because I got my copy was brand new, and when it first released here, and it's farming, and they were and that's by how he said it's farming. I'm like, okay, all right, stop talking to me. I'm gonna move over here to the fun games now. What are you talking about? And that's kind of how that went in the store. And I was like, I'm not concerned about it. So I go home and just looking, and BGG is a thing. Board Games with Scott, dropping the name. You probably don't know. You should look it up. It was good. And he is the first person I watched. I had gotten into him and seen a few things, and I saw that he had a video on it. And I said, oh, okay. So I knew him, and I liked his material. And I said, well, let's see what he has to say about it, because I didn't know what to think about it. It's farming. Come on, man. No way. And watching his review on it, which was hilarious. I was like, wait, though. Beyond that review being hilarious, that seems like that might be kind of solid. So I went back and I read it again. I watched it again, and then I started reading some stuff. And walking in the store one day, it was a copy on the shelf. And I had been reading that first shipment sold out, and they turned the boat around and sent it back to Europe. So when our first shipment got here, it wasn't as big as it was supposed to be. And they sold them in Europe because the demand was so high. It wasn't a scandal. It is what it is. It was a business decision. They knew they were going to sell them in Europe, and the boat was closer to Europe. Turn around and come back. So I walk in, and I see the copy on the shelf, and I'm like, this shouldn't even be here. How did they get a copy? So I go and I buy it, and the guy, he had to call the home office. I'll never forget it because he couldn't ring it up. It wouldn't ring. And the guy told me, like, you shouldn't have that. I took it. I didn't bring it in here. I promise I'm not trying to give you $70 just because it was on your shelf. So they finally figured it out, and I brought it and took it home and played it. And I loved it. And that was my introduction, I guess, into Euro proper. But it's just so deep. Yeah, the theme is farming. If you can't get past that, my kind of thing is, why are you playing board games?
Here's my issue with Agricola. Okay, as you have with, I have yet to play a game of Agricola where I feel like I know what the heck I'm doing. And
well, that's because you understand Seven Wonders. I'm not surprised. That's just the biggest mess that's ever been put on cards. Oh, wait, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud.
What does that have to do with anything?
My bad.
But so I own it because I understand its pedigree.
Yeah, because I thought you did own a copy of Agricola.
So it's one of those that okay.
We need to play it.
Right. And that's my problem is I haven't played it enough.
Yeah, we need, no, absolutely, yes.
Yes, because right now, the 2 or 3 times I've played, I'm like, all my people are dead, and we're sleeping out with the sheep because I have one, and it's
you have to feed them and build onto your house.
Well, no, I didn't like my house. The game was like you lose.
That is awesome. But I was going to say also too, my copy was labeled as a regular copy, not a launch copy, and there was a special deck in the launch copy, the Z deck. Turns out that this box that shouldn't have existed, that's labeled as a regular copy, is a launch copy because it has a Z deck in it.
Okay,
yeah.
I have a Z deck.
So, they added them now, but of course back then was a big deal, and yeah, I paid full price for it. But I think it's a fine game to do. I think it's fantastic.
Cool.
And I'm done.
Excellent. So your list is done. All right. So I will finish. I will for Larry's credit
with that entry. I've got more entries after yours.
Oh, you're done with that entry. Oh, dang it. Okay, so Larry and I kind of landed on one game that we both agreed on, and he so graciously let me take it for this segment, but that's the Resistance. Listen.
Love it.
You talk about Formula D. There's very few games that are just always memorable when you play it, and the Resistance is always memorable. I will never forget the time that we were sitting around my kitchen table around Christmas with some old friends who live out of the state, and we were playing Resistance, and my wife sitting next to me was playing the best game of Resistance ever, and our friend said, I swear to you, I'm not the traitor. I will give you the keys to my car right now. That's how sure I am that I'm not the traitor. And my wife's like, sweetheart, he's the traitor. And I'm like, you know what, baby, I think you're right. And she flipped that card over, and I lost it. It's like, I don't know who you are.
She was the traitor.
She was the traitor.
But we all know she can play you.
I guess maybe that speaks more to that than anything.
Yeah, that ain't nothing new to that.
So yeah, and it's easy to get your hands on a copy.
I do love the game.
And if you want, if theming is important to you, the Resistance what's the
Avalon?
Avalon, yeah, that's a fantastic one. So yeah,
King Arthur and the
yeah, absolutely.
Around, yeah.
And then if you love that and you have a smaller player count, I'm going to sneak this one in there. Go play Battlestar Galactica. I mean, that's it. That's the
sneak a 9-hour game in anywhere, man. What are you talking about? Sneak it in there. That's a 9-hour game, folks. That game does not belong on this list.
It is not a 9-hour game.
It doesn't belong on this
list. It has nothing to do with time. It's all about age.
Alex is misleading everybody.
No,
Don't
go
listen.
play Battlestar Galactica because
9 hours long.
it's the Resistance's older brother. Okay, all right, I'm done.
The next one for me, about the same age, actually, as Agricola, came out the same year as Last Night on Earth. So a little B, campy, zombie thriller that because of the camp, Flying Frog Productions, because of the camp in which they produced it, it doesn't look as serious as it is. It looks fun.
Yeah.
But it's mechanically it's serious.
Yeah.
It's a very serious game.
I will say, though, it has not aged well.
You don't think so?
No,
I think
as
it's
far
great.
as like the camp.
What's the beautiful part?
No,
Because now it's legitimately old camp. Back then it was brand new. It's like, I want to think this looks like the 80s, but you like literally just took this picture last week. Now it's been 10 years. So it's like, oh, okay, now it's really old.
Me personally, because I mean, I still remember copies of it in Dave's store and thinking back on that.
My copy's at the house. Hey, we'll play it the same night we play Agricola.
No, great. As long as I have zombie sheep, I'll be okay.
Well, no, the cool thing about that one is that if you've got a good zombie player, really can help make that one. I mean, of course, you can all play as good guys against the zombies, but having a good zombie player in that one, a little DM light, is just fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just really fun, and I think it's I wouldn't have given it marks for its artwork. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do that for a game period, but I wouldn't do that for this one because again, it's B, and to be honest with you, B level artwork of that nature, it kind of gets pushed to the back. It's new with me, just to be honest with you. It was never that serious. Oh, they're trying to be campy. Okay, whatever. So for me, it's about the rest of the game. And like I said, the game mechanics, the movement mechanics, the foraging mechanics, the combat is solid. The fact that the track moves it along, you don't just run around in there forever. And then the added part of you can have that much fun by yourself or with everybody playing together. But if somebody gets on the other side of the table and runs the zombies and can really just ruin your day at the last minute, that makes it completely different and probably just earned it a spot on another list that we didn't do this week. Because once you change that dynamic in that box, I think it's fantastic. I love it. Plus, mine came with a soundtrack. I mean, I'm sorry, but you can't.
Of course, just came with a soundtrack.
You can't beat that.
No. All right. Well, hey,
you got more? I'm
no,
not done.
No, we did 3.
Okay, because you said 3, so I did 3. I didn't know you was trying to do a mixed list together.
We didn't do a mixed list together.
Okay, then I'm gonna keep going and finish my list then. I'm not done.
Carl, maybe that we do need marriage counseling.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Ain't number one person at the table married. Quit talking about yourself. Actually, my last one's pretty quick, and it's Small World.
All right. Okay. All right.
So honestly,
I'll allow it.
It's kind of in the same vein of a couple other ones in my mindset, at least because that's when I was when they all came to me. So it would be Seven Wonders and this one and one of the Formula D.
Yeah.
They all kind of, and for me, they kind of all rotated into me around about the same time. Small World I picked up. I've played it with hardcore gamers. It is fun. It can get a little stabby. It's designed to be that, but a little stabby sometimes in a bad way. But with newer gamers or with gamers that are even just clueless almost, sometimes it can be really fun.
Yeah. And again, I mean, like I love Small World on this list is because, again, there's a whole generation of gamers who have no idea about these because they like, oh, that's an old game. It's probably outdated.
Right.
It doesn't have strong mechanics. It's probably weak. You get this whole like.
Well, it's just simply not on the hot list.
Right. Exactly.
They don't even know.
But it was, I mean, every game that we just listed was the industry standard for multiple years.
Right. And most of my list was at least 10. It was 9, 10, and 11 years old.
Okay.
Is my list. Had I gone 5, and I'm not going to name any of these, but this is such a huge selection. I mean, the 2013 class was tremendous.
Yeah.
And again, these are all games I own.
Mm-hmm.
I went straight from my collection this time from that portion, but I do like that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
So now, man, what do we got coming up here in just a couple of days from when this first goes live?
Well, for those of you cool enough to be in the know, or at least listening to us right now,
Or at least in Nashville.
on August the 4th at 1 o'clock till 1 o'clock at a particular board gaming. We're going to be 1-to-1, Larry. I told you that. It's going to be 12 hours of gaming greatness. I'll be there from 1 to 1.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Well, hey, remember, you took the next day off. But if you are in Nashville on August the 4th, please, please, please come out and see us at GamePoint Nashville. It's in the 5 Points area, right outside of the city proper. Come visit our good friend Rick. We are going to be having our own GenCon celebration. Because we can't be there, we're going to be joining a national movement called GenCant.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We'll be doing a lot of great stuff. Oh, so Larry, cool thing for our listeners who are going to be going to GenCant. We did talk to the people at GamePoint, and they're going to be offering 10% on off of game purchases if you
look at that.
Wait. If you bring some lightly used or new games to our Children's Hospital donation table.
Absolutely, too. And you know what I want to say right quick? I want to insert on the Children's Hospital donation table on the lightly used or new. Currently now, I've just been looking through some things. A lot of children's games are on sale right now.
Yes.
Like a lot.
Yeah.
Like for little, like $5. So less than that. So, if you don't have any gently used, by all means, don't let that deter you. If you do have some gently used, if you're not sure, because they are going to a children's hospital environment, if the lightly used condition is lightly used enough, $10 will get you 2 or 3 games somewhere.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sales going on right now. The kids are going back to school. Basically what that means is for games in terms of these are concerned is that, of course, the new stuff is coming for Christmas. So they want to clear these out.
Yeah. But the whole purpose here is not to just buy any game willy-nilly and here, I can get 10% off my game purchase. What it is we want to be able to, in some small way, help these families in these children's hospitals just have some normalcy.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're trying to do with that. So again, that's just something the wonderful people at GamePoint are going to be doing for us. But we've got a lot of really fun contests. We've got our friends from Sigil, which they have a new name for their game because they are being published by a large company. I don't know if I actually have the right to say anything right now, so I'm going to hold that out. But we are going to be taking what used to be Sigil and is now a new game that you will be seeing on the shelves within the next 12 months. They are going to be demoing that as well as we're going to be having a 2-on-2 tournament, and you can win a reserved copy of that game. Larry, what else we got?
Which is fantastic. Yes, we've got our good friends at Van Ryder gave us some fantastic,
sweet loot.
Yeah, they really did, man. They gave us some really good stuff. So we've got some copies of Hostage Negotiator. We're going to put those, of course, in the play to win category in a couple of ways. Any way you want to play it. If you want to come in and sit down and play it solo, you can. It's a couple of things people have been suggesting, though. You can play it in duos. You can play it in tandem. There's been a lot of good feedback on that. Working with 2 people is very conversational at that point, trying to make the decisions of what you're going to do and why. So that's a neat thing. We've got Salvation Road there. It's going to be the same thing. That one's going to also be in the play to win, meaning you play it and we'll enter your name in the pool, and the winners for the title will be pulled from the group of people who play it. So 2 copies of Hostage Negotiator, which is tremendous. 2 copies of Salvation Road, which is also tremendous. So there's a lot of opportunity there for games. I know we've got the guys from Infinite Dreams Gaming coming out. So Warehouse 13 will be in the house.
Absolutely.
So we're going to leave a huge big surprise about that for later. We won't talk about that now. The game will be there. The creators will be there. So we've got that going on. We've got some stuff coming into us from Keymaster Games. We're going to get some of their titles entered into the play to win also. And
well, here's the fun thing, guys. This is going to be just a really great night of sharing some time with Larry and I, but just other gamers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because we are celebrating one of the biggest events in our gaming calendar, which is GenCon.
It is.
And so it's going to be a really, really great time. So again, August the 4th from 1 to 1 at GamePoint Nashville. We do ask that if you're listening to this before August the 4th, register on the GenCant website. That should be up and running pretty soon, and just put in all the particulars and print off your badge. We're going to have a great time.
Right. And we will make sure we get it registered with them as well. So, and some of this information that we gave you, once we get it all finalized, also, we'll make sure we get that up. We will put on social media where that is. And that my target for that is this week to get all of that up.
So this week as in?
This is the week of, what is today's date?
Today's the 24th. So technically this is in the past for them. So we're speaking to them in the future.
Right. So this is the week of the 24th.
We've just broken the space-time continuum.
Yeah, hey, we break a lot of stuff around here. So, but we will get that up hopefully in the next few days. Today's the 24th. So we'll get it up, and it will be a list hopefully of everything that we will have available to give away in terms of prizes. the games that we'll play, and of course, just the dates again and the time again. Look, that will be out on social media. Hopefully, you guys get this before the 4th so that you can come out and join us. And those of you who just wander in and maybe come listen to the show later, thanks for coming by. And I do believe for the birthday show this year, Alex, I think we've done the happy birthday thing because we're giving stuff away at the game days thing.
Yes.
Because we do want to make sure we give stuff away every year on our birthday.
Yes.
But that is happening there. So I think we may be done.
No, we're not.
Oh, my goodness. We're not done.
Did you look at your notes?
No.
Okay.
I didn't look at the notes.
All right. Well, I want to. So we are at the end. We're recording this at the end of July.
I'm at the end of my notes.
Well, we just in the board gaming world, end of July means one thing, and that is the Spiel des Jahres winners and losers. So actually, we just with it this week. So if you're listening to us in August, it'll be a couple of weeks removed. But I think it's worth talking about. We actually had the release of the Spiel des Jahres winners, and this year's winner, the 2018 Spiel des Jahres, so is Azul,
which I still haven't played.
Oh, I have I truly do love this game. I
should have brought it tonight,
but we never play. We always just talk. That's all we do. Talk.
We could have played while we was talking.
No, I wouldn't have talked. Don't say anything. Just leave it there. Okay. All right, but which brings up the question for me.
So well timed.
Yes, absolutely. So Spiel des Jahres, there is a caveat to these judgings, and that is all of the nominees, everything to even be considered for the Spiel des Jahres, you have to actually have been translated, sold in, produced.
You have to be published in German. It's a German award.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but it is considered to be like the gold standard of board game awards.
The rest of the board gaming world has co-opted the Spiel des Jahres. They couldn't care less in Germany. It's their award, and they're going to do it. And the rest of us looked at it and said, "Oh, this is fantastic! This is the best thing ever." And they're like, "Okay,
yeah."
But I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. That's the reason why. That's like, because you said caveat, and I'll leave it at that. But it's like, I mean, no, it has to be in German because it's for Germans. They can't play it otherwise. So they'd have to look online and they don't want that. So it's like, okay, all right, it's got to be a German game to win this German award.
Okay, so but now what I'd like to talk about is not necessarily the idea of the fact that it's a German award, but our American audience has, just like I stated earlier, has put so much just a couple of seconds ago, Larry's giving me the question mark look.
Oh, my bad.
So, but I mean, our American audiences have put so much weight and importance into the Spiel des Jahres. Is that warranted? Should they have done that?
I love the question. It's a great question.
Well, great. Give me an answer.
No. It's marketing. It's marketing. Brilliant. See the little red thing with the gold wings that they slap on the front of the box?
Mm-hmm.
It's marketing.
So,
yes.
So the Spiel des Jahres should not have the importance that it does.
That's a bad answer on my part because I don't fully think so. I don't believe that it should have been put up in place of a suitable suitable other award based in our market.
Well, but because as it stands, it is it's like winning the Oscar. You can win a Golden Globe, you can win a BAFTA, you can win all of these things.
And I'm not suggesting, or I don't even really believe that what would be put in its place would take away from that. Because you're right. That prestige is there. It's for one, is the oldest at this point, so it was going to be there the longest, and then clearly it was going to have a lot more rules, or will have most likely, than anything else that comes up from any other region of the world. I have no problem with that from that standpoint. But I think part of the reason why it is so important here is, again, because of marketing, literally. It was dollars and cents.
Okay.
The companies here looked at it and said, oh, it's an award winner. They like awards. They'll buy this one over that one. They'll buy Agricola because it won an award. They'll buy Catan because it won an award. No, we'll buy them because it's great games. But that's the way that they put it up there. So there's no slight on that, and I don't have any loss of respect for it. I really think this is more about the absence of something as the same level as that based in our market.
Yeah, because right now I would say we've got 3 awards that hold any weight in America.
And I think, okay.
Now, again, I'm not saying that those awards actually are are an equal level as far as perceived importance.
And not from that standpoint. That wasn't where I was just going to say, because there's no unified voice behind them in terms of how they're done.
Right.
That's where I was going to get to.
That's fair enough.
With the Spiel, it's done whether love it or hate it. This is the way we come about. This is the game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, that's it. We vote on it this way. You have to have, all of these boxes checked before we even look at you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got the voting board of people that are going to vote on the games, and they go from there. Like you said, no matter how many different award games we've gotten, you're saying 3 majors, but there's like a billion of them.
Right. But again, I'm
one.
talking about awards that have any clout from the participants in the hobby.
Clout equals visibility.
Correct.
So, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, clout equals, these are more visible,
Mhm.
Because Jim's best board games, if you don't go to Jim's site, you don't know they're there. But the ones you're talking about, because they're visible, but how do they derive that? You know what I mean?
Well, but they're all derived from members of the industry that people have slapped importance to. Because you're looking at Tom Vassell, you're looking at Gamma, and you are looking at BGG.
Each in their own orbit, though.
I beg to differ.
No, they're each in their own orbit. There is no cross. No. Tom Vassell, they're not asking anybody. It's in his organization.
No, okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm not talking about it from
Yeah.
that. I'm talking as a procurer of this hobby, as someone who buys board games. I look at those 3 as leading voices in the industry. Is at least someone whose voice carries some type of weight. Gamma, BGG.
Well, sure.
And Tom Vassell.
Well, sure.
And their awards, I think, have a level of legitimacy to them because of where they come from.
Well, sure. Yeah, no, I absolutely don't disagree with that. I would just, my point, like I said, the point was, they're going about it different. And
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
So I honestly think we're talking about 2 different things.
No, we're not.
We actually have we come to the same agreement. Spiel des Jahres.
Yeah.
We as a hobby, a person who buys board games, or just the boots on the ground, the people who are in this hobby, we put too much importance on the Spiel des Jahres.
And we're kind of not, because I'm speaking to that exact same thing. That's the thing, because I hear what you're saying. Yeah, these are 3 voices, they're 3 leading voices. That's true, but they're 3 independent voices.
Right, and I don't think that we should listen to them either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're independent of each other.
Right.
Even also.
Absolutely.
So it's like, okay, if you don't like Tom Vassell, but he puts out a list that you think you agree with, what does that mean?
Yeah. So ultimately,
it's like, well, wait.
What we are coming to together is that all of these board game awards are actually, if we look at it from the outer space satellite orbit view, are actually worthless. I mean, that's kind of how I feel where we're going, and I'm okay with that.
And I don't necessarily think that. What, like I was trying to get you earlier, what I would like to see is something, right? It doesn't matter who's involved. It could be right now probably a group of everybody from what you just said, from all 3 of them coming together under one umbrella of, this is how we figure this out.
It'd be interesting.
This is what it takes to get in. This is how we judge it. This is when we judge it. These are the winners, and give me a list.
Would be
with those guys.
Here's a fascinating thought: is I wonder if anyone has taken, made an algorithm or take a composite.
Listen, math nerds,
of all of the best of lists. So, let's say you take the top 50 in the world best of lists.
I bet they have. That's a good question.
And then compile that, and then let's say, because all the American lists, Gloomhaven is number 1. No, I bet you nothing overseas has Gloomhaven over there.
Well, and that's part of the reason why I don't think that they're not legitimate. I do think that they have some worth, right? Because you're doing things, and you want to have, good and bad. You want to have some kind of a delineator of, this is a good thing, this is not. Every industry, of course, wants to hold up the accolades. You can't wait on the movie. You can't wait on Hollywood to tell you that you made a great board game, right? You can't wait on the record industry. You have to do it yourself, in terms of the industry. So that's why, I know I don't have a problem with that. But, and again, I don't have a problem with the regional things, because you're right. The Euro games, Europe, Risk, Legacies, probably not going to be anywhere near the list in Europe. The year it came out, it would have been on the list for the US. The same thing for Asia. The micro games, 10 years ago, before we started developing a taste for them, those games would have been all over their list probably. And everywhere else in the world would have been like, But they still should have it, though. There still should be awards. But again, I don't want it to have where, we've got three major, lists in the US. You've got Origins. You've got Gamma. You got Tom Vassell.
Gamma runs Origins lists.
Yeah, but Origins has got one too, though.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You've got Origins does their thing. Gamma does their thing. Same organization, 2 different lists. You're right. 2 different best ofs. official ones, of course, you got Dice Tower,
Mhm.
right? I mean, so like you said, all these guys, all of these industry, they're all tapping into the same industry. Let's get a set of standards
Mhm.
and let's pull them market-based. Let's do the same thing. Hey, it's got to be in English if you want it. I mean, they're going to do that anyway because they want to sell them here.
Right.
The same thing over there in Germany. If you want your game to sell over there, you better put it in German. You ship it out to Asia. You better put it in the language of the country.
I know people here in America have oh, I love Japanese games and I love it in I wonder if there's like a group of people in Germany. I only want to play American games and I want to translate. It's like I just want, because you got to think that there's always the opposite of us somewhere else. I'm fascinated with American culture and their games.
Oh my goodness.
10 Days in USA is quintessential American game.
Okay, we'll quit making.
I'm not really sure.
We'll quit making our neighbors mad and move on.
Okay. All right. Well, Larry, like you were trying to do earlier, I think we have come to the end of our second birthday, my friend.
2-4. Here is to many new things coming. Hopefully, we'll get to work on our outreach things. We'll get to take up more games, and we'll hopefully have some reports for you guys soon for that. We'll get into a lot more reviews. We got some more really interesting segments and things we've dreamed up that we want to try to get put out there. We want to thank you definitely for hanging out here with us and listening to us. Thank you for the feedback. If you haven't given us any yet, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook.
Yeah.
Come out there and interact with us. We are looking forward to it. But I guess for this month, for our second birthday.
Happy birthday!
Hey, there's Carl. All right.
Hey, you can't make this stuff up.
That's
man.
right. See, he ain't fake like Wally was. Carl, I don't know if you remember, but or if I told you this now, but we made up a fake intern just to have. But now that you're here, it's real.
It wasn't us. He did it all on his own.
Yeah, it was true. It was exciting.
Yeah.
So, oh, Larry, quick, stop. Summer of Games. Before we leave, quick, you have 30 seconds to tell them to play a game.
Yes,
what
the
they should
game
play.
The game that you should play is from your favorite.
No, don't do it. That one's mine.
No, it is
That
not.
was mine. I wanted to do that one.
Isle of Skye is the game that you should play.
Play Isle of Skye. Isle of Skye is from Mayfair Games. It is a Carcassonne killer.
This does not constitute your game. You better stop talking and start thinking about your game.
That was the game.
Such a great family game. I think it is still easy to get, even though Mayfair is dead.
Yeah, no, but Isle of Skye is still everywhere.
Yes, and it's a really neat game. It's got a really neat twist on the bidding mechanic. You've got building. It's visually interesting on the table. Yeah. It's a challenging little game, I think, for family sizes, and it will go up to 5. So 8 and up, and that's definitely in the wheelhouse, 8 and up.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can get it everywhere. Definitely tonight when you're done listening to us, whenever you listen to this, go play, Larry said, Isle of Skye.
Yes. And
Alex, go. You now have 20 seconds.
And for me, go play one of my favorite games of all time, Niet. If you've been listening to the show for the last 2 years, I have talked about Niet so many times, I don't really need to say anything else other than it is one of the best trick-taking games you will ever find.
He cheating, y'all.
So that is Niet from ILO.
It is good, though.
Yes,
That's a really
absolutely.
Good game.
So, for the Spoken Token, this is Alex Wallace.
This is Larry Neal.
Saying, keep playing.
And keep communicating.
Happy birthday.
This has been the Spoken Token Podcast. If you would like to interact with us, please find us at Facebook at The Spoken Token, on Instagram at The Spoken Token Podcast. Our Twitter account is at The Spoken Token. Email is thespokentokenpodcast@gmail.com. And our BGG guild number is 2656.
You are listening to a Pod Studio One Podcast Network podcast. Find more great podcasts at www.podstudio1.com.